So friends, we continue to stay updated on the news and events on the front lines of Ukraine and Russia. And today in Russia, they've reported an incident involving a tanker in the Kerch Strait. The Ukrainian security service, along with the naval forces, successfully detonated a Russian tanker carrying fuel for occupation forces. A source within the Ukrainian security service confirmed this and provided corresponding video footage. Furthermore, the head of the security service, Vasyl Maluk, explained the reasons behind the explosions on Russian ships and the illegal Crimean Bridge. Any explosions occurring on Russian ships or the Crimean Bridge are entirely logical and effective measures against the enemy. Moreover, such special operations are carried out in Ukraine's territorial waters and are completely legal. It's reported that the commercial vessel had recently arrived from Turkey and was moored near the Crimean Bridge. According to Russian media, the explosions damaged the machinery compartment and the superstructure of the tanker. And currently, water is not entering the tanker, and the crew plans to assess the damage on their own shortly. TASS, citing sources from the Tammany Maritime Security Subcenter, stated that a group of rescues has been dispatched from Novorossiysk to the Kerch Strait area. Based on published photos, the ship suffered damage to its engine compartment and bridge. The question of towing the tanker is currently under consideration. And as of today, the Ukrainian armed forces have successfully managed to repel the majority of attacks along the front line. The occupiers are unable to break through, thus thwarting their plans, and I suggest taking a closer look at this. But before we delve into it, I kindly ask you to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. And let's start with the Vuhledar direction. Here the occupiers are actively attempting to advance in order to regain their former positions. But the Ukrainian armed forces are holding their defense, and when the situation permits, the Ukrainian armed forces shift Russian advances into counterattacks and strive to make progress for the liberation of Ukrainian territory. Meanwhile, the Russians continue an intense shelling of the Aegean area to target as much the Ukrainian armed forces equipment as possible, as it is currently their primary objective. However, it can't be said that they are succeeding well, and looking at the geolocation map, the Ukrainian armed forces strikes have been more effective than those of the occupiers over the past 4 days. And as a result, the Russians are depleting significant reserves, and sooner or later the front may collapse. And in the Zaporizhia direction, the situation is similarly favorable for the Ukrainian armed forces. The geolocation map clearly indicates that over the past 4 days, the situation resembles that of Vuhledar. The Ukrainian armed forces are inflicting more strikes on the occupiers' positions and are targeting both personnel and equipment. Therefore, the situation is highly challenging and rapid progress is not easily attainable. Extensive artillery operations are being conducted to facilitate further advancement. And unfortunately, this is the reality of the current counteroffensive. Rapid progress similar to that seen in the Kharkov direction is unlikely, as the occupiers have learned from their mistakes and significantly reinforced their positions over the past year. Nevertheless, this didn't prevent our troops from breaking through the first line of Russian defense, and Deputy Minister of Defense Hanna Maliar reported this. According to her, the movement of Ukrainian forces is hindered by concrete engineering fortifications established by the Russian army. And in the Kherson direction, let's also examine the situation on the geolocation map today to see the work being done by our soldiers. Here, the Ukrainian armed forces are destroying the occupiers' positions to make further progress. And we can see that the main efforts are concentrated in the area on Avtonovsky Bridge. The Ukrainian armed forces are targeting the occupiers' positions to facilitate advancement. And the timing of this progression is currently challenging to predict. However, recently the occupiers did retreat from a few of their positions, and therefore we are awaiting further developments. And in the Avdiivka direction, the occupiers are attempting to regain lost positions in the vicinity of Avdiivka. They are advancing in the industrial zone area, but so far they haven't achieved any success that they lacked before. And over the past day, the front line remains unchanged. Attacks are also ongoing in the Pervomaisky area. Gradually, albeit slowly, the occupiers are infiltrating our territory and moving closer to Karlivka. Currently, there is a distance of 4.5 kilometers from the extreme front line to the Karlivka reservoir. And further south in Marinka, the occupiers are similarly attempting to intensify their offensive actions. They are operating with several groups simultaneously to achieve some level of success. However, despite the challenges, the Ukrainian forces are successfully holding their defense, and the situation remains unchanged from before. In the Bakhmut direction, the occupiers have mobilized a substantial number of reserves and continue to deploy them for breakthrough attempts. Today, attacks are being recorded in the Ivanivsky area, where they are trying to advance through the fields. However, the Ukrainian forces are also striving to turn any enemy attack into a counter-attack in this area, and as a result, intense battle persists and the front line remains unchanged for now. And regarding new offensive actions in the Klishchiivka area, there is no official information available yet. However, reports from the field indicate that the fighting continues and the Ukrainian forces are gradually attempting to push the occupiers back from Klishchiivka. Nevertheless, significant progress hasn't been achieved so far. In the Crimea and Siversk region, it seems that the occupiers' offensive actions have halted. After capturing a few kilometers, they have transitioned back to a defensive stance. And currently only shelling is ongoing and there is no observed activity along the front line. In the Svatovo region, the occupiers have also quieted down. Today there are no reported offensive actions and only shelling is ongoing in the Kisilivka area. In the Dvorichny direction, after several days of intense shelling, the situation has become relatively calmer today. Shelling continues, but not to the same extent as before, and additionally, no offensive actions are reported, and the front line remains unchanged, similar to the previous days. Furthermore, due to significant losses on the front, the occupiers had to introduce a draft law for criminal punishment for evading mobilization in Russia. Some individuals are highly displeased with that, and according to information from a Russian publication, the head of the Defense Committee of the State Duma proposed adding a third part to the article on evading military service. And criminal punishment will be imposed on those who evade conscription without lawful grounds for exemption. The initiative didn't face objections within the Russian government, and the Commission on Legislative Activities approved the project for corresponding amendments to the legislation. And also the government on Chancellor Olaf Scholz in Germany presented the public portion of the latest package of military assistance to Ukraine, which has already been transferred to the armed forces. It includes tanks and demining equipment, aerial reconnaissance and communication systems, vehicles for border service, and much more. So the full list will be displayed on the screen, so those who are interested can pause the video and review it. And additionally, today the International Atomic Energy Agency stated that they didn't detect any mines or other explosive devices on the roofs of the third and fourth power units. Rafael Grossi reported this on Twitter, and the organization's team continues to urge the Russians to visit the roofs of the other 4 units. And that's all from me. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.